Hi, and welcome back to another episode of Don't Take Us Seriously podcast. I'm DJ,
What's good? It's O.
and today we're going to be talking a little bit about these quarterbacks, but really, we're going to be talking a little bit all over the place. Just remember, like, subscribe, share for more, and if you guys want to hear anything, make sure to leave that in the comments, and we'll make sure to try and accommodate for you guys if we can. But, Brady, with this divorce now finally behind him, from what we see, going on, he can focus on football. Why is it that we're so hard on him? Brady is the GOAT. He's done things that we've never seen before. He's that guy. He's that man. But his O-line's failing him. Mike Evans isn't on the same page with him. They're getting too many penalties. Why are we so critical of Brady? He's the guy.
I mean, on the same topic, bro, really, I don't think it's just Brady. I had a realization the other day that I think it's just these quarterbacks in general. Like we don't give a lot of them a fair shake. Like look at Geno Smith right now, for example. In comparison, Geno had some all right years. Then he kind of journeymaned around, and we was ready to write him off. But now he fell into the perfect system with Pete Carroll, the weapons, and his talent and overall ability is starting to flourish. Now to reverse back, you got Brady in a situation where, he just finalized his divorce. He had a lot of stuff going on with his kids in the off season. His head wasn't particularly all the way in football. It just, you pile that onto the ailments of his teammates and the fact that he's the oldest quarterback in football, it's not fair. It really ain't.
It's really
Granted,
not.
he chose to come back to the sport. I understand that. But we being kind of tough on bro.
But I just don't think we need to be so hard on him. He's a man. He's gonna do what he's gonna do, and we just gotta live with that and just respect him as the quarterback as he is.
Facts. But speaking about greats, though, what about one of them young boys, man? That boy Josh Allen. I know a lot of people starting to write dude a ticket that might be too big for his britches. I think Josh Allen is great. I think he has the potential to be an all-timer. But some people are willing to die on a bigger hill than that. And I don't know how I feel about that, dog.
Hey, I'm going to die on that hill because Josh Allen is that guy. He is that guy with the big arm that's thrown from all the platforms. He's looking like one of the guys that we haven't seen since Elway. He's looking like one of those guys that we haven't seen since way back. I just think that, yeah, people say we can pump our brakes and everything, but when I see a guy, I'm going to call it like I see it. And I see a guy that, let's look at these numbers. I see a guy that's starting off right now going real crazy, real early. I see a guy that, starts off 10 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. That's slow. 20 touchdowns, 9 interceptions the next year. That's slow. That's picking up. Third year leap, 37 touchdowns, 10 picks. I'm not saying that nobody could do this like he's doing, but that combo of him running like Lamar, like learning like Lamar kinda in his own way with more power and throwing like Mahomes clip, hey, this is a size speed combo freak, and we don't get these very often.
I agree. I won't refute his growth and the potential, but dying on the hill that he's potential, like it's. I just can't write. That's a check my ass can't cash.
I get it. I mean, it's just nobody thought Brady was going to be Brady when he won them first 3 Super Bowls. Before he won the Super Bowls, we didn't think Brady was all that. We thought he was a system quarterback. These numbers is 18 touchdowns, 12 picks, 2,800 yards in his first 16-game season. 28 touchdowns, 14 interceptions, 3,700 yards. Hey, I'm just saying that sounds a lot like Alex Smith. I'm not saying that he's a system quarterback, but I'm saying when a guy takes that leap and he can do what he does, we just need to take note because he's really that guy.
You know what? I'll let you live on that one because that's a different point than you made earlier. I'll let you live on that one. But I see the progress. But to be the GOAT, you got to do it long term, and we only in year 4, so I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Let's get on to something that's a little bit lighter. Them Lions, they don't got the heart. We know that. What say you? Why are these Lions so what can go wrong will go wrong? I mean, it just seems like they just scored their first offensive touchdown since October 2nd. This don't make no sense whatsoever. We've never seen a team be this. That's not true. We've seen bad teams, but to see a team with such high offensive output the first 3 weeks and then turn around and go touchdown list for almost a month of football going on, and they don't score a touchdown.
Jared Goff.
Yeah, I mean,
one word.
Yeah.
You asked the question, you got to answer.
Jared Goff isn't the answer. We know what they're going to be doing next year. They're going to be drafting a quarterback, which is fine. But
we watched Jared Goff shit the bed in the biggest moment of his life, and then the following season did the same thing.
Yeah.
And we listen. We don't expect the old dog to show us new tricks.
We don't.
Why are we expecting a different Jared Goff?
That is fair. But I just know that Dan, what's that coach's name? Dan Campbell, that's his name. Dan Campbell isn't doing him any favors either, because he's biting kneecaps. Everybody loves him for he's got the brother attitude, and but come on now, leave that for the wrestlers, not for the head coaches, like not for the leaders of men. I mean, his record's looking real similar to Matt Patricia. He's on that trajectory, and this don't make no sense that their offense is looking the way they are, but their defense is looking also like one of the worst we've ever seen. Like, this just don't make no sense. I know you want to blame Jared Goff, but let's not take the blame away from Dan Campbell too, because he's losing these games too.
I agree. There's a lot of poor coaching going on, and it don't help that their defense giving up top 5 most points in the league.
18 unanswered points to the Cowboys after being 6-3. 27-17 up against the Dolphins. They proceed to lose that game. I mean, shut out by the Patriots, 29-0. Like, this is unprecedented. We don't see this.
And then biggest emphasis in that on shut out by the Patriots, a Patriots offense that was attempting to find its way with no true identity whatsoever. Bailey Zappi, the backup, and dog.
Yeah.
If there was a game for them to win,
like a Punisher.
Yeah, if there was a game for them to go in and win and prove themselves and get their juice back, it was that game, and they shit the bed.
Yeah, but let's keep it going over some of these teams that are more or less. Are they real or are they pretenders? We got the Falcons, we got the Titans, we got the Seahawks again. They keep popping up on our radar, and we even got the Vikings. I don't know. What are your thoughts on this? I don't know if you think these guys are real. The Titans. Man, I'm just gonna say, Malik Willis ain't real. Malik Willis needs to go back to Fantasyland where he belongs, because he should have stayed at Liberty, because this is not what it is. Mike Vrabel is turning chicken salad from chicken shit. Like, this don't make no damn sense. They got this man Henry running 30 times a game. They ran on 3rd and 9 twice.
Listen, this ain't something we haven't seen before, though. That's all I'm gonna say. This ain't the 50. I'm not here to defend Malik Willis.
I hope not.
Do I think that he's more talented than Ryan Tannehill? Yes. Do I think that Malik Willis is the guy long term? Don't know. But we've seen them hide Ryan Tannehill behind Derrick Henry before, though. That's all I'm gonna say.
All I'm gonna say is from the numbers, when you got a defensive end looking running back and Derrick Henry, and you got Malik Willis, who threw one pass in the fourth quarter. One pass.
Why would you throw more when your running back is running for 9 yards a clip?
When Derrick Henry is just toting this beam like this, you think he gonna last the whole season with Malik Willis back there at quarterback? Bring back
Malik Willis
bring
not
back
gonna be
Ryan
back there the
Tannehill.
rest of the year.
I
He's
stand
not
with
gonna be.
Ryan Tannehill.
I do too. Right now, I'm not arguing that. I'm not arguing that, but I think Tennessee's for real. I do. I think Tennessee's for real. Malik Willis. We ain't got to talk about it right now. I think Tennessee got it.
Hey, all I'm gonna say is Mike Vrabel is a damn good coach. Mike Vrabel is a very, very good coach, and he needs to get that respect. He needs to keep that respect. We need to stop doubting Tennessee when they have these injuries, like Simon went out, Earl Landry went out, the defensive end for them. Like this, he's really making greatness happen. This is 5 straight wins now. This don't make no sense. He's averaging 30 carries the last 3 games. Derrick Henry is. I mean, come on, man. Like, he over 150 yards against the Texans 4 straight times. We've never seen this before. All I know is that if they keep going like this, hey, it's going to be hard. The Chiefs got them up next, but good luck to them.
I feel you. I think it's hard for Derrick Henry in longevity purposes, but I think right now, I think the Titans are for real. I don't want to say they're not contenders because they're going to be number 1 in their division at the end of the year. They're going to make the playoffs. They could very possibly win their first round game, but I don't see it going much further than that because their number 1 weakness is the same thing that Aaron Rodgers is dealing with right now, and that's the lack of a true receiving core or potential receiving threat up the field.
Yeah, I mean that's fair. But I think they're contenders as well. I'm not going belabor it too much. So, but for them Atlanta Falcons though, this is a team that I see that is very they're untraditional. This is a team right now that is opting to run the ball at a clip that we haven't seen in a long time. They're a true, like, overly balanced offense, if you will. Like, Mariota he's barely throwing over 30 times a game. Like, they're finding ways to keep running with Mariota, keep running with Algier, Cordero Patterson. Wow, the hate. You know what? That's fine. That's fine. But you know what, though? When they find ways to not turn it over too much, and to somehow corral a young defense in what's supposed to be a rebuilding year, and they're still out here winning these games. I mean, Mariota is what is it, 5-1 now covering the spread this year? Maybe 6-1. Like this is different. I think they're 6-1 actually. This is very, very different.
Okay. Look, I like all of that, but do you think they like that or not?
I'm gonna say I think if they can keep this up, this brand of football, I wouldn't be surprised if they were in the playoffs at the end of the year. I wouldn't be surprised if they won the division.
Are they a contender?
I would say yes. They're a contender for their division. Because right now,
are they a Super Bowl contender?
Of course not. Of course they're not a Super Bowl contender. Nobody thought they'd be where they are now.
Next.
All right, fine. They're pretenders. But I'll tell you what, they're contenders in their division. And I'll tell you this right now. I'm sure you like them over the Saints and over the Bucks right now.
That division ain't competitive.
Oh, so now you don't want to answer my questions, but that's fine. That's fine. I'm just gonna give kudos to Arthur Smith. Arthur Smith right now is finding ways to keep running the ball. He's finding ways to keep doing what he did with Derrick Henry with a completely different team. And he's also finding ways to exploit good teams. Like they've been playing against some of the best defensive lines, and they're still effective at running. This is just it's looking very Shanahan-like, where you're able to just run against everybody, and it doesn't matter who their person is.
You didn't hear me sneeze earlier when I said San Fran? Yeah, I know.
Okay. Yeah. But I'm also not going to forget about the fact that it was the game that was definitely not watched the most out of all of the week. I mean, the fact that, and going into the fourth quarter, I think DJ Moore had maybe 40 yards, 30 yards. This man ended with over almost $125, $150. Like, he was going crazy. And turn around Yeah, and we saw like 2 or 3 lead changes happen in this game. And like in the fourth quarter, we're like, oh, this is a great game. But hey, DJ Moore, shout outs to you because you definitely you had the fans, cheering for joy and then turn around and putting the bag back on their face after the kicker missed the field goal because this don't make no sense.
That was a whack ass penalty, dog.
Hey, it could be whack, but he got to be smarter than that. He got to be more aware in the moment. You can't just let your emotions get the best of you because that was one of the best throws that we had ever seen in the last couple.
PJ Walker, yeah.
I mean, it went like it was a next gen stats record. It went 67 yards in the air yards. It was the longest throw that's ever.
It was a rocket.
Yeah,
it was a rocket.
My undrafted.
It was a rocket.
That's crazy.
Hey man, it was a moment of passion. Was he wrong? I'm not gonna say yes. I understand, but like it's a moment of passion, bro. Been counting DJ Moore out, counting Carolina out, and he held his nuts in the moment, bro.
He did.
What you want me to say?
He did that.
Hey, but what do you think about Seattle? I know where I stand, but I want to hear your opinion before we go into this.
So what I'm going to say about these Seahawks, they're leading the division. That's what I'm going to say. It's Pete Carroll once again doing what we didn't expect with a quarterback that we didn't expect it from. Geno Smith finds a way to win. I mean, even with the Giants, they were able to. There were 2 fumbles, that the Giants helped with. But you know what? It doesn't matter. The fortune favors the prepared. Sometimes it's the bold. This time it was the prepared because Tyler Lockett dropped 3 touchdowns in this game. I shouldn't say that. He had 3 possible touchdown opportunities. And for you to still overcome that against a Giants defense that's quite stingy, was just talking about them against Trevor. Now I got to give Geno the same credit that I was going to beat down Trevor for. Hey, when you get the job done and you hold one of the best running backs in the league to under 80 yards, that's a big deal and you deserve kudos, especially in another rebuilding year. And now they building themselves up to lead the division.
I love how you go on and go on and go on, but you still ain't answered the question.
I'm just going to say, man, they contenders. No, I'm going to say it. They are contenders. They're not contending for the Super Bowl, but they contended for their division because they are pretenders for the Super Bowl.
Honestly, right now on my list, I have Seattle as one of them sneaky teams. One of them sneaky teams that could potentially slide in the playoffs and steal a couple games from somebody not prepared.
I can see that because they win very untraditional styles.
Exactly. They play that dirty brand of football, same as the Giants.
Yeah, that they do. And if they run up against a team like Green Bay or they run up against an Arizona or the Vikings even, you never know. They get down in the dirt and we don't know what's going to happen when the going gets tough. But these Vikings is another team. And I just don't know. I'm not positive because when I look at their schedule, they have played a lot of average teams. I mean, you go down and you look at, they beat the Packers. They lost to the Eagles. The Eagles made them, the Eagles made them call them their daddy. They beat the Lions. Ooh. They beat the Saints. Ooh. They beat the Bears. Ooh. The Dolphins. I mean, come on, man. The Cardinals. This isn't tough, stiff competition. I mean, at the end of the day.
You done yet?
What? Are they contenders? Because they're pretenders. They are pretenders in my eyes.
Cat.
Explain. Give me Minnesota. The floor is yours.
Give me Minnesota. They defense playing above their head. I'll give them that.
That's fair.
Because this defense is tooled the same way it was last year. And personnel speaking, aside from Zadarius Smith, not a lot of changes. But they're just playing a better brand of football on defense openly.
Yeah.
And I believe that especially with the addition of TJ Hawkinson, ooh-wee. I see that offense. I can see this offense contending with anybody. I believe this offense can go toe-to-toe, personnel-wise, scheme-wise, with anybody they have to. I
I
think
don't mind their
Minnesota
offense.
is actually Minnesota is my sneaky pick. Is like my number one sneaky pick to accidentally fall into the Super Bowl.
That's a respectable take. I will say I do like the point. I do like the take though that they get T Hawk. They're leaning into the Super Bowl. They're really thinking that it's about to happen. So I'll give them credit for that. The defense has been better, but when you turn around and you play the Packers, who they can't throw to nobody, when you play the Eagles that really dominate them, they play the Lions. I mean, come on now, they pee down their leg traditionally. And then they turn around and they play the Saints, who didn't have Kamara. It was Andy Dalton's first game, and it was in London. Come on now, like this is and let me not let you off the hook. Will Lutz also missed the field goal that was going to tie it to go into overtime. It's a lot of big maybes that are turning this Vikings into a team that's to really be reckoned with in people's eyes.
I agree, but I'm gonna tell you this. I think the only matchup there, well, two matchups. I feel like that Eagles game left a sour taste in my mouth. I'll give you that. But I think a lot of people are underselling New Orleans. As much as that pains me to say, I think a lot of people are strongly underselling New Orleans. And I think New Orleans has the personnel to match up with a lot, healthy or unhealthy. They're showing it right now that they have the scheme and personnel to match up with whoever they face.
Oh, Cap. Oh, I'm allergic to bullshit. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
okay. Man, for the next segment, bro, we lay to rest an all-time great, two-time MVP and previous contender. Bye-bye to that boy Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
they couches.
Yeah. It's not looking too good for him right now. I mean, they offense can't make no big plays. All they can do is run the ball. Everybody's overhyping this whole Bills game. They thinking like, oh, it was a good game. You know, they played a pretty good game. Von Miller said himself he thought they'd throw more. They was down. They was down big. Like
They
you
should have
just
lost
gonna
that
run the
game by
ball.
30.
Yeah, if they wanted to. This was Josh Allen playing a bad game. He had 2 picks and they still won by 10.
And them two picks should have been touchdowns openly.
Hey, so all I can say is this defense, they can't stop the run. They're 21st in running, but hey, they can run on the Bills. So hey, that there they go. That's
And
that's what they get to hang
even
their hat on.
what makes it even worse is the Bills are openly one of the poorest rushing attacks over the past couple years.
For the fact that you let James Cook gash you wide open. You let Devin Singletary
They let
gash
Devin
you wide
Singletary
open.
gash him.
Yeah.
Gash him.
Yeah.
Devin Singletary was running the same way Derrick Henry was running on Sunday, bro.
Hey, either way it go, we just know that this is it for Green Bay. I don't want to hear no more of their contenders. I don't want to hear no more Aaron Rodgers is the GOAT. I don't want to hear no more none of this. It's
Yeah,
over.
they can
It's a
let they
wrap.
can they can lay that shit to rest. And the crazy part though is Green Bay 3.5 games behind Minnesota. And they tied with the Bears.
Yeah.
And what's even more ironic though is, you know, as much as everybody shit on the Bears, I was, you know, I had some hope. I was like, you know what? This is the opportunity for the Bears to treat Aaron Rodgers the way he's been treating them his whole career. This was their chance. And what they do, go trade away the sack leader from 2 years ago and Robert Quinn. Go trade away arguably the best running back in football, or not running back, linebacker in football in Roquan Smith. What they expect Jalen Johnson and Eddie Jackson to cover the whole field? They gonna get coverage sacks with no pass rush. Now the Bears gonna go to Lambeau and Aaron Rodgers is gonna look like Aaron Rodgers again for 2 weeks.
Hey, all I know is there's no way that we can talk anything good going forward with the Packers. And that means it's pointing upwards for the Bears, it's pointing upwards for the Vikings because it's pointing downwards for the Packers right now. But now let's get into more. It's a segment we're gonna call Real Talk. Now, for this Real Talk, we're gonna be talking about like the spearing of these these defensive players on these offensive players. And we see the refs are always focusing so much on the roughing the passer. You know, you can't hit the quarterback low. You can't hit them high. You got to hit them in the numbers. You can't put your weight on them. We got all the rules in the book, but there ain't nothing really out here that's protecting these defensive receivers. Y'all not calling it consistently.
So I agree. I agree with, especially in these past couple weeks, there have been some egregious actions where some flags should have been thrown, some fines should have been divvied out, and some suspensions should have been headed out. Specifically, in my opinion, Harrison Smith. So a lot of the other ones I could leverage with, but Harrison Smith, almost every week in the past 3, I've seen dude do some just straight up outlandish shit. And at some point, like, I I can't even say was one of the best safeties in football. I don't know if I put him in that category right now, but dog, like, at what point do you say, hey, this dude on the other side of me is, he's an athlete, he's a person, he has a family, he has to see. You feel me? Like, we don't need no more tours, bro. We ain't got time for that. That's out.
I definitely get that, because when we got players like we got our young guys that we think are going to be great, like Etienne. We got an older guy in D Hop, but another young one in Gabriel Davis. Like, we got guys that are getting hit that, like, we're thinking they're going to be the next guys. Don't you want to protect them? Just because I get it, if a quarterback goes down, that whole franchise falls to the ground until they're back. So I get that. There's a huge drop off from the starters to the backups. But at the same time, just as much as you saying, that's a person and everything with, these players, I think we need to really put more emphasis on this person and these refs, because we need to have some cognitive tests. Maybe we need to have some physical tests, because I'm sorry, we can't just be having these refs not making these calls. We having too many missed calls, for the safety of the players. And if you're going to protect these quarterbacks like this, how about you protect these running backs? How about you protect these wide receivers? They signed up for this, but come on, let's keep it fair now.
I agree. I agree wholeheartedly, bro. Like, a part of me is like, it's football, it's a gladiator sport. It comes with the territory, but at the same time, like, at some point we have to acknowledge actions that are well outside the bounds and the rules that are set.
And I will say another thing though too. Let's also not forget about the fact that they throwing these flags like they did against Pete Carroll, saying because he's outside the coach's box, and they throwing unnecessary, unnecessary roughness, or, a personal foul, if you will. Okay, but you're not going to call it for this spear penalty. And then also, okay, you want a random drug test AJ Brown when he messes around and, has more receiving yards on the year than the Titans' whole wide receiving core. You want to random drug test him? How about you random drug test some of these in these games? Or how about you drug test them? How about you randomly test them cognitively? Because, hey, they missing calls just as much as these defenders is missing tackles on these wide receivers.
they
Oh, man, but hey, another one though is another segment we've got. So the miracle segment. This is the part where no one expected this.
Yeah, I'm just saying that shit. Myles Garrett is he a freak. He need, if he not the most feared champion this year in Madden, I don't know who deserved to be, because I don't know what it is about this dude in Halloween, bro. But Buddy get active.
All I know is the freaks come out at night, because there had to be 1,000,000-to-1 odds us thinking that the Bengals was going to pee down their leg against the Browns. And you know what? The streak continues, because Joe Burrow still has not beat Cleveland yet. He hasn't been able to pull it off. I don't know how.
You know what? I didn't know that. I did not know that.
Hey, And if it's for more things to come, man, they pummeled that man. As soon as Myles Garrett tipped that ball in the first quarter, Joe Burrow was trembling in his bones.
You know, he pissed down his leg for sure. That was he didn't come prepared. And like, you know, I understand, you know, you down your number one receiver. He's the best receiver in football, arguably the best receiver in football, you know, such a difference maker and playmaker. But ain't Joe Burrow the same that said that he got 3 number one receivers? It ain't look like it.
He didn't look like he had one yesterday.
Man, that's miracle football if I ever seen it.
Fantasy segments here. Man, we got some darlings for you today for this fantasy football segment. We got the high points. We got CMC. We got Derrick Henry. We got AJ Brown and Alvin Kamara, Deontay Foreman, and Tony Pollard. All of you fantasy owners out there, you had a great week if you had multiples of them on your team. I know for me, I had Deontay Foreman on my bench. So you can guess I did not win.
I started Derrick Henry in both leagues.
Yeah. You had Derrick Henry, and I played against Alvin Kamara.
To be fair, though, some of these guys, I think we could see relapses of these performances. Some of these guys, I doubt it. I doubt it because Deontay Foreman splitting carries. Chuba Hubbard didn't play last week. Tony Pollard, in reality, is splitting carries. And as much as I think Tony Pollard is probably the best back in the system, they're not shying away from Zeke. I think Alvin Kamara could repeat. AJ Brown is dependent upon Jalen Hurts, who's kind of on fire and trending up right now. We could definitely see a repeat from Derrick Henry and CMC, especially with CMC's utilization going up and the trade of Jeff Wilson to Miami.
Hey, another one too, we can't leave him out. Tyreek Hill leading the league in receiving yards right now. This man has more receiving yards than over 3 different teams in the NFL. So that just tells you he's been going crazy. And if there's any chance you can get any of these players we just listed in fantasy, hey, you might as well make that trade right now because it's only pointing up for them.
If you gotta give up an arm and a leg to get them, hey man, make it work for you. That's all I can say in that regard.
And now for some of the salt to pour on the wounds. Some of the following players have been epic busts for your fantasy team.
Let's call it what it is. Rest in peace to whoever drafted Jonathan Taylor, because I know you took number 1 overall.
Yeah.
I know you did. I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm sorry. And you know what? I'm happy. I appreciate you because you took him off my hands. You a real one.
But I'm going to tell you what, though. I drafted Najee Harris. I made that mistake. But there's also others like the Cortland Suttons of the world. There's the Cam Akers of the world. There's the AJ Dillons of the world. Man, Taylor and Harris, they'll turn any team into a sacco. They'll turn them into the last place on the team. But man, these guys, if y'all had to deal with them this year, I'm sorry. We mourn with you because they're the bust of the year.
I don't mourn with you. As long as they ain't on my roster, more power.
Well, that concludes
do better next time.
Yeah, you're right. Do better next time. But that concludes the segment. That concludes the podcast today. Just remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. This is the Don't Take Us Seriously podcast. I'm DJ.
I'm O. And we'll kick it with you next week, baby.
See ya.